Welcome to the 2012 annual Garden City Garden Walk. I'm Susan McGraw, so excited to be here. We have a variety, and I mean a variety, of homes and businesses to enjoy and appreciate today as we celebrate gardens in Garden City. And as we always like to say, every year you could be seeing your own home or your own business in our Garden Walk one of these days. Lots of things to participate in through the Garden City Garden Club. We'll give you details on that a little bit later, but I am excited to move forward and visit these beautiful homes and businesses to see what makes Garden City just so beautiful. Let's watch. We're here at Barson's Greenhouse, although Barson's Greenhouse has never looked this flighty, I'll put it that way. And I'm joined with Brenda Dzik, and we are in Brenda's Butterfly House. Brenda's Butterflies. This is the coolest and I think one of the most exciting, hometown secrets here in this area. Welcome, Brenda, and congratulations on being entered and featured in our Garden Walk this year.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. There's so much activity going on. We don't know where to shoot, first with the camera, but tell us a little bit about your background and why butterflies are so important to you.
Well, my background, my actual degree is in electronic engineering technology. However, 5 years or so before I retired, I decided I wanted to be able to see the butterflies I used to see as a child. So I started doing lots of research and a lot of studying, and started planting the host plants, which are the plants the butterflies lay their eggs on. And before I did that, I'd only have like occasional cabbage white butterfly in my yard. Now I have over 30 species. So I started giving talks all over, and then I co-founded and president of the Southeast Michigan Butterfly Association. And then last year I wrote and published a book last year to teach people about butterflies. And the reason why I've done all this is because our ecosystem really needs it so badly. There's, less meadows and prairies. And so without the butterflies, and especially the caterpillars, our songbirds feed their fledglings, the caterpillars, and we wouldn't have all these beautiful songbirds if we didn't have the butterflies. And frogs and toads and all sorts of insects eat the caterpillars and butterflies. So they're really an important balance to our ecosystem. So that's why I wanted to teach people how easy it was to have the butterflies in their yard. Most of your butterfly houses import their chrysalises from other countries. I didn't want to do that. I want to teach people what they have in their own backyard. And in doing so, I can have the host plants, which other butterfly houses cannot do, because they have to account for every single species they order and then burn them up at the end of the season, because there could be bacteria or parasite which we cannot introduce into our country.
Because they're coming from other countries. Right. But this is like kind of made in Michigan, if you will.
These, I collected all the eggs to start it in my own backyard, which is 6 miles away from here. And so I've got this way, they can't have host plants because they can't increase their numbers. They have to start with the same number and end with the same number. But because these are native, I can have the host plants, and I can educate people on the whole metamorphosis, the complete life cycle of these butterflies, by showing the eggs and the caterpillars and the chrysalises and the adults. So what I've done is I've created host plant signs, and those are the plants that specific butterfly lays its eggs on. Okay. And then the nectar signs are the plants that the butterflies will feed on once they're adults. So on the different plants, this is the Virginia snakeroot. You will see these are pipeline swallowtails, and so we've got those in here. On the false nettle, on the back of this leaf here, there are caterpillars. You can see all the holes in the leaf, but these are little teeny caterpillars on the back of the leaf. And these will be question marks. Now the red admirals, they don't eat the leaf the same way. They stitch it together with silk and eat from the inside. So a red admiral would be in here. We have monarch caterpillars on here. I'll try to find a bigger one and show you a little later.
Okay. And I see the monarch butterfly flying around us. That, monarchs have been, I think, pretty famous. We'll head over this way. Kind of pretty famous in Michigan. That's one of the I think most colorful butterflies that I've seen just in my own growing up in my own backyard. Would you say that that's a pretty popular butterfly here?
And that's the one that everybody is very familiar with. And so that's the one that everybody knows, a monarch. But the rest of them, that's what I want to teach everybody else about. How, yeah.
All the other ones, huh?
Right.
Okay. Well, let's keep walking here, and if we can follow through, oh, isn't that nice? How wonderful. So again, you've mixed host plants with what you're calling the nectar plants. Okay, and the nectar plants, of course, is what the butterflies are feeding off of. Okay, very good.
On the roof here, you can see we have a few giant swallowtails that haven't made their chrysalis. This is a giant swallowtail in here, and it is North America's largest butterfly. It can have a wingspan of up to 6 inches.
Wow.
So most of my little guys, well, I see there's another one right down here too, but most of them have taken off to make their chrysalis, which butterflies make chrysalises and moths make cocoons. So we have chrysalises in a bunch of different spots. They might be kind of hard to see.
Yeah, and I see there are some actual butterflies mixed in too. Oh, like way back there, you see the yellow one there.
Yep, that's that spicebush swallowtail.
Okay.
And he's getting ready to make his chrysalis.
Okay.
Now let's see.
I saw down here we have a beautiful, beautiful little
this is
little
an
guy.
American lady.
Okay.
Yeah,
girl. Beautiful girl then.
well, could be a male.
Could be, yeah.
But that's an American lady.
Okay.
And all of this is all the milkweed, no matter the tropical, the swamp milkweed, the butterfly weed, anything in the milkweed family is a host plant for the monarchs. And let's see if we can find a little bit. Well, here's a monarch caterpillar, right here.
Wow.
So the monarchs have laid their eggs, and they're still mating and laying more eggs, but there's all different sizes. This is probably about the very biggest because my monarchs just started laying eggs not that long ago.
Is there a cycle for these for butterflies? I mean, do they like this hot early summer weather, or are they particular to fall, or how does that work?
This one's a little bit bigger in here. The butterflies like the warmer weather because they're cold-blooded insects, so they have to be able to heat up their wing muscles in order to fly. However, they don't like it too hot either, so when their wing muscles get to like 110, they'll seek shelter underneath the plants. It doesn't necessarily mean the temperature's 110, but when their wing muscles heat up to that.
Okay. Well, let's keep walking. It looks like we have just so much, and this is a very large facility, Brenda. We weren't quite expecting so much, product, beautiful colors in your plants, and I know you're choosing them for certain reasons, but if you chose them just for their looks too, they would fit very nicely in here. So I can see why this is a very important part of our garden walk this year. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I wanted to do this, after I wrote my book, I thought, what else could I do to educate people? And I thought, well, if I could have a butterfly house, and I asked Barson's if they would rent me the space to put up this greenhouse, and they said, oh, no, we won't rent it to you. We'll let you use our space. Oh. So I was able to put this butterfly house up on their property, which I just feel is such a blessing because I'll be able to educate so many people by showing them firsthand, the plants that the butterflies use.
Right. Let's look over here for just a second if we can. We have
like a cute little.
Was that monarch nectaring?
Yes, it was nectaring. Yep.
Term I used?
Yes. Yep. It was nectaring, and it also lays its eggs on. This is another milkweed, so it lays its eggs on here.
Okay. Do I recognize parsley?
Yes, the black swallowtails lay their eggs on parsley. They also lay on dill and fennel and on rue. Underneath here, it might be kind of hard to see, but this is a question mark. Those little babies I showed you on the back of the leaf, that's the adult. And it looks like a dead leaf when its wings are closed, and when it opens them up, it's orange. So that's a question mark in there.
That is amazing. Now, is there anything related to the dead leaf appearance that nature gave that butterfly so it could blend in and not be attacked by, birds or anything?
Yeah, different butterflies have different ways of protecting themselves from predators. Okay. And that's, it's disguise or, you know, may I say, to protect
gentlemen.
itself against
Got what you
butterflies. They'll see a dead leaf and not bother it.
Okay. That's all right. You have a beautiful pond in the corner as well.
Yes,
Brenda, that's
I
fantastic.
put the pond in because butterflies like to ingest minerals out of the damp, you know, soils and the pea gravel and things. And when the males mate, they deplete their system of all the sodium and potassium, so it's really important for them to be able to obtain those nutrients in here so they can mate again.
You sure know what you're talking about. That's very exciting.
Thank you.
And even the butterfly art that you have sort of interspersed with the plants and things just makes for a really lovely facility.
Thank you.
And it's not incredibly hot in here. There's a nice breeze coming through. I've been in butterfly habitats before that are almost stifling. At least that's my impression. So this works out very well.
Well, next year it will be a little bit cooler. The screen on the top that the greenhouse company recommended for me is a little bit too tight of a weave. So in the fall, when my butterflies hibernate, I'll have all that screen removed and I'll put in a bigger weave, and it'll be cooler next year. Unfortunately, I can't do that now. If I took off the whole top, all my butterflies would be gone.
They would fly away. Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing personal, of course,
Right,
right? I'm sure
right.
they enjoy having you as their housekeeper.
So in the fall, what I'll do, the monarchs, I'll net those with my butterfly net and release them because they have to go to Mexico.
Okay.
And then I'll net the American ladies and the red admirals because they go south. Everything else will overwinter in their chrysalis or pupa, except for the question mark that I showed you. It will actually overwinter as an adult, and I'm going to get some logs of wood and make a wood pile, and they'll crawl in there and they'll hibernate that way.
Okay. How long has this butterfly habitat been open?
I just opened June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder we hadn't heard about it prior.
And that's why all my plants are still kind of small. You know, as the season goes on, it will get more lush, but they're just new plants, so.
And you know what? I know that we could just really just, it's very peaceful in here. Very, you know, almost like a sanctuary. It's a lovely place to be, and you've got beautiful music playing and so on. But I know you also have some guests that want to talk to you, so we're going to let you go so you can
Okay.
continue to do that. But what a pleasure this has been to be one of the first groups coming through at today's garden walk. Congratulations on just a successful endeavor. If someone wanted to learn more about what it is that you do, can you give us the name of your book and also let us know when we can come back and visit?
The name of my book is Learn About Butterflies in the Garden. I have a website. It's www.butterfliesinthegarden.com. The hours of my butterfly house now, since these are native species, I'll only be open until September 8th because my butterflies will start hibernating. I take Mondays and Wednesdays off. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm open 1 to 5, Saturday 11 to 5, and Sunday 2 to 5.
Fantastic. Well, I know we're going to have lots of people after watching this broadcast wanting to come down and see this. You know, this is for somebody of all ages, so
Absolutely.
families
And
are welcome.
if people want to know if there's a fee, my admission fee is free, but I do take donations. But I didn't build this to make money. I built this to educate. That's why I just take donations.
Fantastic. Well, we thank you for being here. What a pleasure. Brenda Dezek of Brenda's Butterfly Habitat. Again, congratulations. And we've learned so much. I feel like I've just been through a second grade science class and I want to learn more. So thank you again for your help today and congratulations.
Well, thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
I'll-
Okay, we've got more to come right here on Omni Edition TV. Celebrating all things beautiful in Garden City, we are most appropriately at the home of Tommy Beck on Donnelly Street, right here in Garden City at the Garden City Garden Walk. And we had Stash, who will be joining us again, I'm sure, in just a moment when Stash wants to be petted again. But Tommy, thank you for letting us come into your yard, and what a beautiful garden you have. You've been here for over 20 years. Tell us about the journey that is now this beautiful garden.
Well, it's a work in progress, as gardeners all know. When I moved in, there was hardly anything here. A couple trees, grapevines along the fence, and I just started one project at a time, tearing out and planting, and then tearing out some more and planting again. So And it took when you get going, I guess you get an idea. You get one project done, you think, oh, there's something else I could do over there. So then you start another project, and this is the result after 23 or 4 years. Wow. So, yeah.
Well, you've got to be pleased. It's beautiful. And what I like particularly, you have a beautiful sized lot too, which always is very nice, very peaceful and serene. But you've got something really different and unique kind of in all the different areas here. I see the beautiful globes and things hanging from the trees. Looks like we've got some bird feeders as well as lots of ornamentals. And you have artwork too, kind of strewn in. Did it start that way? Did you kind of develop the same thing? Or?
No, I tried to do natural, like with the arborvitaes along the fence back there. I didn't want all fencing, so I wanted as much natural as I could get. And the rocks, and of course the trees. There was 2 trees when I moved in. And one died, I had to take it out, and the other one just started taking over everything, so I took it out, and then I started adding trees. And, you know, you like the shade and everything, but then comes fall cleanup. So, but, you know, and I read a long time ago that in a garden you should have rooms. You shouldn't be able to visibly see everything at one glance, that you should walk around and look at different things. So I kind of took that into account. And I had a German Shepherd that designed that walk, actually. Running back and forth, and forth. So I just put down the stones there. So I had a little help at times.
Yeah, little architectural help and design. Very good. Well, it is, what a nice philosophy, by the way. I hadn't heard that, and that makes perfect sense about the different areas, peeking into different areas of the garden. That's really neat.
It creates more interest, I guess, in your garden all around, because if you just look and see everything at once, that's the end of it. Sure. So you have to actually get out and walk around. And people say, do you sit out here and enjoy? I says, no, because I always see a weed. Whoops.
The mind of a gardener, I guess. See, I would sit out here and enjoy it, and she's going to see the weed. But that's what makes yours so pretty, and that's why you're in the garden walk. Say, if we could just take a minute, tell us about Stash. He is a beautiful rescue greyhound, no doubt about it, and what a lovely dog. Yeah. Tell us about this. This is a passion of yours as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're racing dogs. Back probably in the mid-90s, Greyhound Rescue really took off over the country, and people started saving them, and they were just disposed of. Just because they were of no use, they weren't earning any money. So the Greyhound groups popped up all over the country and started rescuing them, and they're beautiful. They're calm, for the most part. They're quiet. They don't bark. So if you want a watchdog, you don't want a Greyhound. And they don't have to run a lot, but if you don't have a fence, then you need to leash walk them, and you can never let them off leash in an unfenced area because they're gone. And they're very cat-like. If you're familiar with cats, they have that sudden burst of energy, you know, running around, and then they're done. They're 35-mile-an-hour couch potatoes, you know. But they just make wonderful pets. But again, they're not for everybody. You know, if a child wants a rough and tumble dog, that's not a Greyhound. They may want a lab, something like that. But
well, it's clear that Stash is a part of your family, no doubt about it, and a part of this garden as well. Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Give you
a
a little
fence, because some of the fences back there, because you want the gardens, but you don't want the dogs running through them.
Right.
So
No, it makes sense. Very good. Well, and I have to ask, you know, most people put their hearts and their souls into their gardens. You have also sort of physically put your body into yours a little bit here. I see the sling and everything. I wasn't going to bring it up. It's the elephant in the room, I'm afraid to say. But that was, you took a tumble out here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was at night, and, you know, it happens.
Yes, it does.
I never had a broken bone in my life until I started to age.
See what we get to look forward to.
I gotta depend on the insurance now, you know, once in a while. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But you didn't break any plants or anything, right? Did
No,
you
no,
try
no,
to
no.
fall in a way that you didn't hurt anything?
No, the patio does not break.
Good. Okay.
No, it doesn't break. So.
Yeah, that's right. Couldn't fall into the arborvitae, huh? You had to go onto the cement. But well, you know what? This is just a beautiful, beautiful, peaceful place to come and to enjoy. And I know most of us wouldn't get the chance to pop into your backyard and see it, would it not be for this garden walk. So congratulations on being in the walk, and we wish you a beautiful day and a wonderful summer with your garden and your beautiful dog.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the weather that we've had, the frost destroyed a lot of stuff. I've kind of lost 2 trees for the summer, and My ferns aren't doing too well, but they'll all come back.
Absolutely.
So.
Circle of life, as we call it, right? And you'll come back too. I hope you feel better, by the way.
I will. I'm a work in progress too.
Bye, Stash. Thank you. All righty. Well, thank you again for your time today. We appreciate it.
Anybody wants a greyhound adoption, just get a hold of me, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. All righty. Well, you heard it. She should know. She's got a beautiful, successful example right here of how that process works, as well as a lovely garden. So we've got more exciting things to come on our garden walk today, but what a beautiful entry, and happy to be here. We're at the beautiful home of Jeff Wall on Elvin Street, and if this home looks somewhat familiar to you, it's because Jeff's garden entry has been on this garden walk twice before, and that's not because we have shabby gardens in Garden City. It's because Jeff's garden is so cool, and what I mostly like, and what we're going to see in just a minute, Jeff, is how you can do so much with not, a 10-acre backyard. Right. So this is very exciting. This is for the average Garden City homeowner that says, I don't have enough room to do a garden. I can't make this special. Oh, well, my goodness gracious, you've busted that myth for sure. Tell us a little bit about your gardening philosophy.
I just plant, color, perennials because they come back every year. The annuals for color when the perennials, their color goes away. I kind of keep an Asian theme, and I just like decks and quiet spaces like back here off the garage. It's very quiet. You sit back here and enjoy a cup of coffee in the morning, and then the sun. The way the sun goes, you've got shade, you've got sun, and just color. I like a lot of color and textures and knick-knack things. I pick up here and there, and if I see something I like, I grab it.
Very good. It's a neat philosophy. It feels to me like not a lot of pressure, kind of low maintenance, but sort of evolving all the time, huh?
I do what I want, and it's like an hour a day gardening, hour and a half, but it's a very nice stress reliever and very relaxing. So I enjoy it.
Cool. Well, let's keep looking, shall we? Let's walk through a little bit. You talk about mixing the annuals, the perennials. You've got a lot of plants as well, some trees, and I bet you've got color year-round, don't you? Okay.
Color, spring phlox, a lot of purple. And then that evolves into the perennials. Each one comes up. Like this one here, I don't know the name, but that was beautiful for like 8 days. And then the leaves fall off and then something else takes over. And that's how I like it. And something comes and goes, but you keep the annuals for your basic color. Okay. It can get expensive, but if you plant right, everything will fill in. You think you don't have to plant 1 million plants in one little planter, 3 or 4, and this thing will be huge by the end of the season.
Yeah, you have to account for that too, huh? You have to account for what they're going to end up looking like.
Cinder blocks, you can use cinder blocks to use your planting. Just basic cinder block, and you can stagger them. And the impatiens love it because it's porous, so it soaks in the water, and they need a lot of water.
Keeps them cool too, I'll bet.
Yes.
Fantastic. What a neat idea. Well, that's fantastic.
Anything Asian I buy, or the kids give me at Christmas and that, and the Buddhas throughout the yard, and just knickknacks and yard art is what I call it.
Yep, very good. You have trees that are kind of coming in and out in different spots. That is just the coolest thing.
This is my daughter planted this when she was 2. She's 26 now, and this was a maple seed, a helicopter, and I moved it when I bought this place, and I just keep it pruned. It should be, huge, but I didn't want a huge tree. And then this, I bought it was in a little pot, and it's a bird sanctuary. There's many, many different kind of birds that nest up in there.
I like the way you sort of carved out the nooks, as you call it, just the little areas.
I got that from a garden years ago. I thought, what a cool idea, just because it leads you in. You come in, you can go left or right, and you meander your way through here. The grandkids love running through here, all the little paths, and it's easy to mow, and it just gives people a sense of where to go.
Yeah, very good. Do you have a favorite area of the garden, or a favorite plant or a flower that you just you look at it and you go, oh, this is just the coolest.
This lamb's ear, I forget the real name, but it's just vibrant, and it's just looks almost neon looking.
It does, yeah. That's a really neat look. Beautiful. beautiful. Now, will that come back?
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah, it'll spread. I started with one small plant I got from a buddy of mine. I went into his yard. If I go to people's yards and they've got something that's really cool, well, hey, I've got a box in the truck, and I dig up a piece of that. And a lot of these plants have come from different people's yards. People come to my house, and in the fall, I'll reciprocate. Here's what you wanted, and so that I got a friend, and I've probably got 5 or 6. You know, they'll clump here, a clump there, and I just move them throughout the yard and to other people's homes.
Very cool. And that's the sign, you know, that's the sort of like the reason we have a garden club in Garden City, to do that sort of swapping and so on. That's sort of what a good gardener should be doing, isn't it?
Yeah, you always trade.
Yeah.
This for that.
I like the blues. You've got a lot of blue
Well, that
color. I
cools
think
it
it's
down.
beautiful.
Your reds are, you don't want the yard to be too hot. So your blues cool it down, your reds make it hot, and then your yellows kind of in the middle. So I try to keep it, you know, pretty much in the middle where it doesn't look too red, too yellow. So the blues are a nice cooling touch.
I do see, as we sort of make our way forward again, just beautiful. I do see you've got something edible here.
Yeah, we've
Anything
got
else in the garden? Yeah.
Tomatoes plants here, and then over in the back, we've got the garden back here.
There you go. There's some veggies.
And all this is here, this was a leftover gate, and I just used the wood to make a deck. So I do like to reuse stuff.
Yeah, a lot of repurposing. That's great.
Tomato plants are back here. I've got sunflowers, cucumbers, we've got lettuce, peppers, herbs, and just everywhere.
There's nothing like walking into your backyard and picking your
Picking
salad
fresh
and your it's the
lettuce.
coolest
Yes,
thing. I
yes,
agree with you.
yes.
Very neat. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's the dragon.
He's protecting your vegetables. huh?
Gargoyle's protecting the yard. He's protecting the yard.
There you go. Oh, very nice, very nice. When you come out on your average day, and you said it takes about an hour, you kind of do a
Hour
little
and a half,
something
yeah.
every. If somebody wants to get started and they have that hour a
Your
day, what do you tell them?
Well, they need to get started with your soil. Make sure your soil. You start with your soil, because without good soil, nothing's going to grow. And I started back here. I would buy bags of manure and topsoil and peat moss, and just keep mixing. And I use a cedar mulch to keep the heat away, and when there's a drought situation like now. And once you get your soil working, then you can grow anything. And it's just water, fertilizer, and good soil. And the watering is the big part. If you don't water, nothing's going to grow. So, and now we haven't had rain, so I'm watering constantly here. So your water bill will go up, but so will your flowers.
Yeah,
and
look at
it-
the trade-off, huh?
That's
It's
a good
worth it. Let's
trade-off.
step back over this way, Jeff. Fantastic. I want to make our way around to, if you would, please feel free, over to the chairs here. I love your color again, your choices of color with your chairs, and this just if you want to just have a seat for a minute, let's just have a seat and wrap up our discussion. Behind you there is some beautiful, what looks like natural grass.
Tiger grass. And then these are butterfly, milkweed variations of butterfly bushes. So I do get a lot of butterflies in here, a lot of hummingbirds, got cardinals, blue jays, finches. So they're a good group of animals like coming in here. And
Which also is a reason to have a beautiful garden, is because you get all the extra little freebies that go along with it. You get the nature, huh?
hummingbirds, they're in here all the time, and we'll be out having lunch, and they'll actually land on the tree. And I've never seen a hummingbird stop before, and I was just like, wow.
Well, you obviously know what you're doing, even though your approach seems a little casual, I think. But I suppose. Yeah.
If you plant something and it comes back good, and if the other thing crowds it out, then you know next year not to put something there. So it's fun. I enjoy this. This is very stress relieving, very serene. I mean, just relaxing. You just come out here and you just relax. You know, like the Garden of Eden. You know.
That's great. You've given us some good advice today as well. And as we're looking over at again, that beautiful statue in the corner, kind of reminds me of you a little bit there, Jeff. I got to be honest with you, you're wearing the same colors and everything. So that's the philosophy, huh?
Gray, and all the paint's come off of it. Now it's going to this nice kind of yellow, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to leave it like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for letting us peek into your yard again. And I know we'll be back again sometime down the road, but what a beautiful entry in this year's Garden Walk. Thanks. Keep up the good work.
Okay. Bye-bye. Enjoy.
We've got more great stuff coming up right here for our 18th annual Garden Walk on Omni Edition TV. Stay with us. We're at the home of Dottie Vega on North Leona as we celebrate all things beautiful in our garden walk, the 18th annual this year in Garden City. Dottie, welcome. Congratulations on
Thank
being in our
you.
garden walk this year.
Yeah, it's been an honor to show my yard. We worked real hard on it, but it was fun. A lot of fun.
Very good. I
Yeah.
can tell by the smile on your face. Tell us a little bit about your gardening philosophy, and we'll kind of walk through, and you can point out some things as we go, if you like. What's your plan? Do you have a plan, or is it all sort of kind of together? Okay.
We just recently put in the new ties, and brought it out and put in new mulch. But everything that is in this whole garden here are perennials.
Okay.
So they come back every year. And they bloom at different times of the year. And some of them are butterfly friendly. We have butterfly weed and swamp milkweed. And so the butterflies like it. And they lay their eggs on it and have nectar. But yeah, that's basically what I like is perennials.
Okay, very good. Because like you said, and we can walk this way and keep looking. So as you said, we get to see color sort of throughout, and you don't have to keep going back year after year and redoing, right?
Every couple weeks, something else is going to start blooming. Like the Shasta daisy over here is getting ready. It's got its buds. It's going to be blooming in a week or two, and that'll pop. That'll pop. All these are annuals. That's for color. But everything else on the ground are perennials.
Now, you use the mulch, and I think the mulch makes everything look pretty, but I know it serves another purpose too. Tell us about that.
It keeps moisture in the ground, and it also prevents weeds from coming in, which I like. Because I don't
The
like
prevention of weeds, right?
Don't like pulling weeds, yes.
Very good.
Yes.
What do we have over here as we move forward? I'm seeing, and again, I love your art, your lawn art and your wall art. It's always very pretty.
The birdhouses came from a gentleman who was selling birdhouses at our Garden City garden, not gardens, but
The farmer's market?
Farmers market, I'm sorry. Farmers
Thank you,
market.
Mira.
So that one and that one there came from there, and they're more. This one's more decorative. That one's got current birds and stuff in it. So yeah.
Serving the purpose it was intended for. Great. Well, let's walk this way, Dottie. And as I'm seeing, some things I recognize, some things I don't. This is really neat. What is this with the blue?
You know what? I don't know.
Okay. It's one of those of life's mysteries.
But the strange thing about this is it blooms in the morning, and then as the afternoon goes on, it closes up. Wow. So it's kind of an early morning plant.
Okay. The opposite of a moonflower, huh? But it's not a sunflower, I know that.
It's not a sunflower, yeah.
All righty. As we move forward, I'm seeing your plants are very healthy, and I know it's not been necessarily the greatest year for this kind of stuff, but what's your secret? How come they're looking so good?
Well, they've been here a while, and they are mulched, so they are, they're nice and moist. They're kept moist, and I take care of them, get the weeds out, and like I said, they come back every year, and they just do their thing. Yeah.
You make it sound so easy.
It is easy. Perennials are easy.
Well,
If you're a lazy gardener, you want perennials.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That fits probably half of us right in that category.
Yeah.
As we move forward, and let's step over this way. We have, again, I heard you talking about the lamb's ear. Okay, let's take a look at the lamb's ear. That's a beautiful, looks so soft.
And the bees, it is. It's very soft. And you'll see all kinds of bees around it. The bees love it, so it's a real good pollinating plant.
Okay.
It loves to pollinate, and butterflies will even come on it. But yeah, so lamb's ear, and it's heat tolerant. So if you've got a lot of heat and you're not a real active gardener and fussy, this will be the perfect plant for you. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Okay. Well, moving forward, I do see some things that I recognize as
Okay.
well. You've got your traditional, some sort of a beautiful rose there. Is there what's the variety of that?
It's
The red? I call it the red. Yeah.
It's just a rose that blooms, blooms throughout the summer, and it's just nothing special. Yeah, but it has beautiful colors, so that's what I like it for. Yeah. And we just got a really pretty.
Oh, I see
lily
it.
that
I
just
see it.
popped this morning.
Look at that.
And it is stunning. So I don't know if you can get at it. Can you get
yeah.
at it?
It opened just in time for the garden walk.
Yeah, because it was not open yesterday.
Okay.
So it opened up this morning.
Right on cue.
Yeah, and
Very
it's got
neat.
a few new things coming up on it, so that they'll be blooming. Yep. And I like angels, so angels and birdhouses are throughout my garden. And But everything in here is also perennials too. Everything is a perennial, and if you'll notice, the chrysanthemum bloomed way too early. Normally you nip them and it keeps them from blooming, but I let them bloom this year because it was so early and I just let it happen.
Tough season this time around, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
But it's still amazing that you have a garden that looks so spectacular. I know that in the very back you've got some vegetables and maybe some herbs.
Yes.
I'm not sure, but and I know we got some footage of that as well. But as we sort of work our way around, I want to just point out how lovely what I think a very natural-looking set of lilies can do for you. So tell us about that. Why'd you choose to go all lily over there? Maybe we can walk over there and look at it.
The reason why they're all lilies is because it floods back here,
Ah,
and lilies love water.
okay.
They love water. So you can't plant anything that is going to get root rot from the water.
Okay.
So lilies are perfect. They do their thing. It's a natural lily. They're tiger lilies. Some people call them ditch lilies. So they just are natural, and we have them, the birds. It gives cover for the birds and everything like that too.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah, what a neat idea. And it's obvious that you put a lot of time and effort into this. I know you say they're perennials, so you don't have to do too much,
Yeah,
but
but you
whatever you're doing is working.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, very good. Thank you for letting us come into your backyard and
you
look
for
today.
having me.
Congratulations again.
you.
And we
Thank
look
you.
forward to more beautiful things to come.
Okay,
All right.
good.
Thank you.
Have
Thanks,
a good
Dottie.
day.
You too.
All right.
More beautiful stuff on its way right here at the Garden Walk, and what a great day it has been. Who would have thought right here on this beautiful street, North Leona? More to come. We're at the beautiful St. Dunstan Parish here in Garden City, and I'm joined with Gary Gilbert, who is, well, sort of become the sort of appointed, I don't know about self-appointed, but the appointed sort of caretaker of the garden, along with Tom Lazat, who's the caretaker of the grounds here at St. Dunstan Parish. But Gary, it's an interesting story as to how you got into the position that you're in here at this beautiful, beautiful garden that I think maybe a lot of people just driving by St. Dunstan don't even quite realize that it's here. So what was your first introduction to this garden?
It's true. When I joined St. Dunstan's Parish, they had was basically after one of the masses. I walked around and just noticed it as an aside and wondered why, there wasn't more people walking through the garden area and enjoying it, because it was it's a beautiful garden, and just kind of having a green thumb, just gravitated towards doing a little bit of work in it, and little did I know that it became almost a full-time job on the weekends to keep it up and over the course of a summer, and especially this year since it's been warmer, had the opportunity to do a lot of work in it. So as we do the walk around, you'll see that it's just in really excellent shape this year.
It looks beautiful, and what I notice when I walk up is the green. What beautiful greenery. I mean, and it's primarily a green garden with some reds and things in it, but this is just absolutely fantastic. Let's talk for just a minute, though, Gary, if we can, about really probably the effort that it took, and I know you weren't a parishioner yet, but the effort that it took to create this garden to begin with. And we're seeing different stones with names of parishioners and so on. So fundraising efforts from 2006, I understand?
Yes, it was a major effort back in 2006 to create, essentially its inception was to be a prayer garden so people can meditate and come pray and spend some quiet time. It was major campaign. It was kind of before my time. It was professionally done by a local contractor, and most of what you will see today are evergreens. One of the changes that we made this year was to add more color to it, so a lot of the young plants in here that are blossomed yet or bloomed yet will show later in the year, will really blossom once people stop by and come back later in the year. They'll see that the full color of the garden. Again, what we'll see this year is it's a 6-year-old garden, so a lot of areas matured and have filled in. And with that, we've got a lot of new plants that will be taken off this year that will grow from year to year.
As a garden should be, a work in progress, evolving and all that. Well, let's walk forward. We have just, again, that beautiful greenery. It's just so lush here, and I think that sort of lends to the natural feel of being in this area. And it's open enough where you can feel that breeze right now. We're getting a beautiful breeze. But is there, since you've sort of jumped in to help out and be a part of this garden, do you have a particular philosophy that you're trying to go by, or you're just trying to build to what's already kind of established? You got the beautiful, the seating area, and then lots of the stonework for people to sit down and just meditate and pray, as you said.
Yeah, it's really what I've tried to stay with. There's a lot of balance in here, and that's important for a garden to have some balance. You like to have some unusual plants, the standouts, as they say. But the biggest thing is probably balance and flow. As you walk through it, you have that feeling of comfort and peace as you're walking through it, because you may come here and you may be a little wound up or whatever from the day, but you just want to sit down and, as they say, chill out. So it's basically balance, a lot of colors so that it's uniform, and just as you walk through it, you just feel the presence of nature as you're walking through it.
Well, let's do that. Let's keep walking through. Really, really pretty. And there's just, again, so much to look at. Yet it does, as you said, does have a nice uniformity to it, which keeps it in that sort of peaceful vein. I see we have, is this the Stations of the Cross? Yes, it is,
Yes.
all the way through. How neat. You could actually come out here and pray the stations.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I think I've seen people from time to time. Matter of fact, on weekends when I'm in here working, I just kind of have to back out, because when people come through here, I just give them their time.
Very, very nice. And the way it's connected to the church itself, I think, is pretty neat, too. It's not like it's set off far away in a field somewhere. This is literally almost an extension, or, just totally a part of the parish itself, which sort of the lifeblood is in the church itself. And it's just right out here, right in extension.
Yep, right next door.
Well done. Yeah, very good. Moving forward, and you, I'm sure, know much more about all these different ground covers and things than I do, but as I'm looking, I see the ground cover, then I see these big, beautiful leaves between the bush and the other one there. Do you know what that is? It's really pretty.
It's one of the species of a hostas. Matter of fact, this one is getting a little bit crowded out right now. It'll probably get transplanted into an area where it can really blossom out. Right now it's at a mature state, but they'll grow out to 3 or 4 foot in diameter. It's one of the various ones that you'll see on the grounds here. There's probably at least a dozen different species of hostas on the property. And some of them are common, but some of them, by some of the people that walk through today, have made a note. One in particular they haven't seen at all, and it's very uncommon for this area. And they were curious because they quizzed me on it, and I didn't know what it was. I just called it's one of the species of hostas.
Yeah,
so.
Oh, that's neat. As we're moving forward, we're getting from sort of the lower ground cover into the higher, sort of grassier looking kind of stuff. And I like the slight unevenness of the way you've got the, sort of the hill-like features here. But this is always pretty, and it just always looks like it's so fresh and lush. I'm hoping this would be something easy to take care of, and exactly what is it?
It's kind of a form of a grass. It's a grass, essentially. I call it switchgrass. In the course of a year or the growing season, it'll get like 3 or 4 foot, so it kind of gets overwhelming. One of the things that we'd hope to do is re-review that and see what we can do to move some of it around, because it can basically overtake a lot of the growth surrounding it. And it does. When the early growing season, it really looks nice, but like I said, during the course of the year, it can become overwhelming because it grows. It's a really bountiful, and it's a really hardy plant.
And I noticed that's an area where you've got some younger things going, so you've
it's a new
planted
area.
some flowers. Is it marigolds?
We cleared them out this year. It had the grass in that area. It's marigolds, and hopefully to add some color to it. That'll all fill in. The marigolds will get between 24 and 30 inches tall, so it'll fill in real nice next month or so.
Fantastic. Well, let's keep walking, and I'm not going to call it your stick garden because I know that's not what it is, but I see some beautiful roses here, lots of varieties. Oh my goodness. Was this your work as well?
Yeah, they had initially, last year we added some red roses in here, and then a couple of parishioners, they really like the roses, so it had a tough time last year growing when we initially started them out, so they've added some whites, some pinks, and then some peach roses in this area. So again, some of the reds have already started blossoming. Some of the newer plants will get there probably in the next couple of weeks.
This is a good time to be in a garden walk because we're right in the peak of a lot of the beautiful color just kicking, but we still have so much more as the season evolves. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a different color going on seasonally, and as the fall comes in, some of these leaves are going to turn probably a beautiful color as well. Okay, very good. What do we have here? This is neat.
We've got the surrounding this dedication stone here. Again, some more of what I call the grasses. Got a couple of flowering bushes that they'll be a whitish, kind of a pinkish type of flower in probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. Behind it are some daisies that have been here for a while. Planted some new ones this year, some younger plants. Those would be the kind of a pinkish white daisy variety.
As we move forward, I can tell from behind if I'm good with my saints. That's St. Francis, yes?
Yes.
Over there. And
yes.
When you see St. Francis, you think of animals and you think of young creatures of nature and so on. I understand that when you have a garden of this nature, you're going to probably have other parts of nature coming in too. So do you see your bunnies and your possums and your birds and all those other things here?
Yeah, they have. I've seen. Matter of fact, a couple of weeks back. Fawn run through the area, which is really unusual, but they make their way through here. Not uncommon, rabbits. We've seen there's a local resident fox that lives somewhere on the property. Who knows where he lives, but early evening, if you come walking through here, you might get a chance to see him because he's out doing his thing, hunting and stuff like that. A lot of birds. We haven't seen as many hummingbirds like a lot of people like to see, but with the addition of a lot of the flowering flowers this year, hope to see more of those.
I'd heard rumor that there was a sighting. Was it a red-tailed hawk that was sighted here? I think I actually read about that in the Observer, so that's very possible.
Seen it,
you haven't seen it? Okay.
Yeah, but the head maintenance person here has seen it a number of times. Wow. I have seen a pair of hawks. They haven't been red-tailed, but they're a different type of species of hawks. I've seen a pair of them typically in the later part of the evening, just as it's getting dusk, coming through looking for something to eat.
And this would be a beautiful garden to experience at sunset as well as sunrise. I'm sure that it's going to look a little bit different based on light and so on any time of the day. And as we maybe make our way around this way, we could end at this beautiful, beautiful statue of the Holy Family. I think that's what I'm seeing from the side here. So let's take a quick look and see again, surrounded by beautiful lush greenery. More areas. I'm so glad that St. Dunstan's entry is in the garden walk this year because I don't think you probably have to be a parishioner to come here and appreciate this beautiful garden. Would that be a fair assumption?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it's open. I mean, it's not fenced in. I mean, there's definitely plenty of places to park. Early evening, even which you stated, it's a nice place to come. We've got lighting in here, so it gives it a different ambience as you walk through the garden, even as it starts getting a little bit darker. And it's here for the people of Garden City to enjoy.
Absolutely. Well, we'll leave you with the last word. Gary, thank you for the tour, and what a beautiful, magnificent garden. Best of luck as you continue to work on it, and the rest of the parishioners as well. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Beautiful St. Dunstan Parish here in Garden City, and we are celebrating the Garden Walk, the 18th annual 2012 Garden Walk. Stay with us. So there you have it. What a beautiful, beautiful edition of the 2012 Garden City Garden Walk. We want to say special thanks, as always, to our Garden City Garden Club. And if you'd like to get more information on the Garden Club, maybe become a member, maybe a drop-in visitor from time to time, they would love to have your participation. Here's the way to get in touch. It is a website that I'll share with you. It's www.gcgc.weebly.com. Again, www.gcgc.weebly.com. gcgc.weebly, weebly.com. You are invited to attend the Garden City Garden Club meetings as well. They are held the third Tuesday of every month at 6:30 at Henry Ruff School. We thank you for enjoying this edition, this 2012 edition of the Garden City Garden Walk. Congratulations to the venues on the walk this year. You have outdone yourselves, and we look forward to more great things to come. So enjoy the rest of this summer. Happy 2012 and happy gardening, Garden City.